What's up guys, Estractz here. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a different type of video. Today I'm going to show you guys on how to make 4 of Andrew Tate's cars. So we're going to go ahead and start with the first one, which is going to be the Rolls Royce. Then we're going to go ahead and do the M5, but in GTA they only have the M2, so the M5 almost looks similar like the M2, except this one's just a 2-door and not a 4-door. And then we're going to go ahead and do the Ferrari 812 SuperFast, and then we're going to go ahead and do the McLaren. So if you guys want to go ahead and know where you guys can buy these cars, I'm going to go ahead and show you. So you're going to want to pull up your phone, go ahead and go to the internet, go to Legendary Motorsport, and the first one we're going to go and do is going to be the Winsdor. So you're just going to want to go ahead and click on 2-door, and after you do that, just scroll down until you find Winsdor. Whenever you do find the Enos Winsdor drop, which will be this car right here, part of the Ill-Gotten Gains update, part 1, which is going to be right under the Pegasus Osiris, you're going to want to go ahead and click on this. It's only 845,000, so that's not really that expensive in GTA, but you're just going to want to go ahead and click on any selections. It doesn't really matter. And after you do click the wrap you do want or the livery, you can go ahead and order it to whatever garage you want. And after you do order it, we're now going to go ahead and get inside that car and just take it to Los Santos Customs. When you do get to Los Santos Customs with the Winsdor, all you want to do is just go ahead and drive inside. Whenever you do drive inside, you're going to want to put on the basic stuff, so like the armor, the brakes, the engine, the turbo, the transmission, stuff like that. Just go ahead and max it out. I'm only going to tell you guys the stuff that you guys will need to make it look exactly like Andrew and Tristan's cars. So for this, you're going to want to go ahead and go to lights, click on headlights, and you're just going to want to set it to the Eon lights. Whenever you set your headlights to the Eon lights, you're going to want to go ahead and back out of lights, scroll down to plate, click on plate, and for the plate, you're going to want to set it to the yellow and black plate. For the EU plates that they do have on their cars, they're black, but they have white lettering, so that's the only thing that sucks. But since this is a black plate on this car, then that's the reason I did use it. If you guys know how to use custom plates, you guys can go ahead and put Andrew, or you can put Tristan, or since they do both own all of their cars together, you can just go ahead and put Tate, and you guys can just go ahead and do that if you guys want. But after you have done the plate, you can now back out of plates. Now we're going to go and do the respray on the car, so the color of the car. You're going to want to click on respray, and since the car does have a livery, you're just going to want to put blank canvas. So this is all the liveries on the car. Just go ahead and put on blank canvas. After you have done this, you can now back out of the liveries, scroll up to primary color, click on primary color, scroll down to classic, click on classic, and you're going to want to set it to the dark blue, which is on slot 45. After you do set it to the dark blue, you can now just back out of primary colors, scroll down to secondary color, click on secondary color, click on classic, and you're going to want to set it to black, which will be on slot 1. After you have done this, you can now just back out of your secondary colors, and that'll be it for the respray. So after you have done the respray, for the suspension, you guys can leave it at the stock suspension. The transmission, obviously, you can max it out. The turbo, you can max it out. Now for the wheels, go ahead and click on wheels, click on wheel type, and you're going to want to go ahead and click on high end. After you do click on high end, click on stock rims, and you're going to want to go ahead and put on the Super G, which is on slot 6. Which is kind of funny because Andrew Tate does call himself the top G, and it's Super G rims. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of weird. But this is exactly the rims they do have on the Rolls Royce. After you do equip these rims on the car, you can now just back out of the wheels, back out of your wheel type, go to wheel color, and you're just going to want to have it set to the alloy, which is the default color, so it should already be set to that. After you have set your wheel color to that, for your tires, you can just go to tire enhancement, and you can either have the standard tire or you can have bulletproof tires. It doesn't really matter. For the tire smoke, it doesn't really matter. For the tire design, set it to stock tire. And for the windows, you're going to want to go ahead and click on windows and set it to light smoke. And once you have done this, after you did set the light smoke, then that's pretty much it for the car. So that's all. The only thing that sucks is that you guys cannot make the grille all black, so there's not really a lot of options that you can do to... Everything's not perfect. Like, you guys can't make it exactly like Andrew Tate's or Tristan's cars, but this is the closest you can get with the Rolls Royce that they do have. And that's pretty much it. After you have put all the upgrades on the car, just like you see right here, that will be it. So now you can just take it back to your garage and then we can now just move on to the second Andrew Tate and Tristan's cars. Okay guys, whenever you do get back to your garage, now we're going to go ahead and do Andrew Tate's BMW M5, but in GTA 5, it's the M2, which sucks, but this is the only closest thing that they do have to the M5. So the M5 has 4 doors, and this one only has 2 doors, but this is the closest that looks to the M5, so I'm glad that Rockstar was able to bring this car into within the recent update, and so we can make this car. So for this car, to buy it, you're going to want to go ahead and pull up your phone, go ahead and go to the internet, go to Legendary Motorsport, click on 2 doors, and you're going to scroll down and look for the Uber Matte Cypher, which is basically 1.2 million. So you're just going to want to go ahead and click on any color you do want, and then go ahead and order the car, and then just deliver it to any garage that you want. And after your car was delivered to your garage, you're now going to want to get in the car and just take it to Los Santos Customs. When you do get to Los Santos Customs with the Uber Matte Cypher, you're now going to want to go ahead and just drive inside. Whenever you do drive inside, just like the last car, just put on the basic stuff. So like max out the armor, max out the brakes, max out the engine. And I'm only going to show you guys the stuff that you do need. So for the bumpers, go ahead and click on bumpers, click on front bumpers, and you're just going to want to leave it on the stock front bumper, which is on slot 1. After you do this, you can scroll down to rear bumpers, click on rear bumpers, and leave it as the stock rear bumper. After you do that, you can now just back out of bumpers, scroll down to chassis, click on arch covers, and you're just going to leave it as stock covers. Now you can back out, go to rear diffuser, and you're just going to want to also leave it on the stock rear diffuser. Once you have done the chassis, you can back out of chassis, scroll down to exhaust, go ahead and click on exhaust, and you're just going to want to leave it on the stock exhaust. After you do leave it on the stock exhaust, you can now back out of exhaust, scroll down to grill, go ahead and click on grill, and scroll down until you find the primary shark grill, which will be on slot 12. And this is the closest that you can get to the grill that looks like his on his M5. But after you do equip this grill, you can now just back out of grills, scroll down to headlights, click on headlights, and you're just going to want to go ahead and leave it on the stock headlights. Once you have done this, scroll down to hood, click on hood, and go ahead and click on hood catches, and you're going to want to set that to none. After you have set your hood catches to none, back out, scroll down to hood, click on hood, and you're going to want to set it to the rigid hood, which will be on slot 5. After you do set your hood to the rigid hood, you can back out of hoods, scroll down to your interior, click on interior, click on steering wheels, and you're just going to want to leave it to stock steering wheel. Back out of the steering wheels, go to dash. For your dash, leave it as stock dash. Now your dials, you're just going to want to leave it as stock dials. Basically, most of these will be stock, so the doors are stock, the interior stock, the seats are stock, and the roll cage there's no roll cage. So now you can go ahead and back out of the interior, go ahead and click on lights, click on headlights, and you're going to want to set it to the Eon lights. After you have set it to the Eon lights, you can now back out of headlights, scroll down to livery, and obviously it's going to be no livery. Now you can go ahead and scroll down to mirrors, click on mirrors, and you're going to want to leave those as the stock mirrors. Whenever you have the mirrors set to the stock mirrors, you can back out, scroll down to plate, go ahead and click on plate, and you're going to set it to the yellow and black plate. So they have a black plate on their M5, but in GTA there's a black and yellow plate, but they have a black and white plate, but this is the closest that looks like theirs, because they just have a black plate, but they just have white lettering on theirs. So after you do have the yellow and black plate, if you guys know how to customize plates, you guys can either set it to Andrew, Tristan, or since they do both own the cars together, you can just go ahead and put Tate on it, if you guys know how to do that. But after you have done the plates, you can back out of the plates, scroll down to respray, go ahead and click on respray, click on primary color, scroll down to matte, and you're going to want to go ahead and click on matte, and just set it to matte gray, which will be on slot 2. After you do set your matte color to matte gray, you can back out of your primary color, scroll down to secondary color, click on secondary color, scroll down to matte also, and you're going to want to click on matte, and also set it to the matte gray, which will also be on slot 2. Once you have done this, you can now just back out of your primary and secondary color, scroll down to trim, which is still on resprays, and you're just going to want to set it to black, which is on slot 1. And so, which is kind of cool, is that they also do have the white interior on his M5 that he used to have, but he doesn't have the M5 anymore. But this is what his interior almost looked like, except he did have white seats, which you guys can't change, which is a little annoying, but that's fine. So after you've set the trim color to black, you can now go ahead and back out, scroll down to accent color, click on accent color, which is the dials. So you're just going to want to go ahead and leave those on ice white, which is on slot 5. After you do have the accent color set to ice white, you can back out of resprays, scroll down to roof, click on roof fins, and for some reason you guys can't remove this, which sucks, but I just thought this one was just better. I just thought because it was lower, this one's like a little bit higher, but I just like this one a little bit more. So you can go ahead and put on the racing fin, or you can either put on none, whichever you like better. So either none or the racing fin. After you do that with the roof fins, you can back out of roof fins, scroll down to roof, click on roof, and you're just going to want to have it set to the stock roof. Once you have done the roof, you can back out of roofs, scroll down to skirts, click on skirts, and you're going to have it set to the stock skirts. Whenever you have set your skirts to the stock skirts, you can back out of skirts, scroll down to spoilers, click on spoiler, and you're going to want to set it to the primary ducktail, which is on slot 3. After you have set your spoiler to the primary ducktail, you can now just back out of spoiler, scroll down to sun strips, click on sun strips, and it's just going to be none. So after you have set none on sun strips, you can back out, scroll down to suspension, click on suspension, and you're going to want to set it to the lowered suspension. So it's just the first one that you guys are able to put on. So the stock suspension, and then just the one under it, which is going to be called lowered suspension. You're going to want to go ahead and put that on the car. After you put on lowered suspension, you can back out of suspensions, scroll down to transmission. Obviously you can go ahead and max that out. The turbo, max it out. Now for the vents, you're going to want to go ahead and just leave that on stock vents. After you've done that with the vents, after you have stock vents, you can back out of vents, scroll down to wheels. You're going to want to go ahead and click on wheels, click on wheel type, scroll down to track. You're going to want to go ahead and click on track, and you're going to look for high 5, which is on slot 14. So this is the closest pairs of rims that you guys can get on the car. I tried looking for a closer pair of rims that look similar to the M5 that they did have, but this is the closest that you guys can get. So after you do equip the high 5 rims, you can now just go ahead and back out of the wheel types, scroll down to wheel color, click on wheel color, and you're going to want to set it to black, which will be on slot 2. And after you did set your wheel color to black, you can then back out, go to tires, go to tire enhancement. You can either do standard tires or bulletproof tires, it doesn't matter. But after you've done this, for the tire design, leave it at stock. For the tire smoke, you can have it at whatever, but I have white tire smoke. You can now go ahead and back out of tires. After you do back out of tires, or you can back out of wheels, you can now scroll down to windows, which will be all the way at the bottom. Click on windows and just leave it, or just set it to the light smoke. And after you did set the tint to the light smoke, that's pretty much it for all the upgrades. So as long as you guys have done the basics, so like the armor, the brakes, the engine, the turbo, the transmission, that's pretty much it for the car. I just told you guys the rest, and that's pretty much it. So now you can just go ahead and back out of Los Santos Customs, and now you can take it back to your garage. And after you do take it back to your garage, we can now work on the third Andrew Tate or Tristan car. Now we're going to go ahead and work on Andrew Tate or Tristan Tate's Ferrari 812 Superfast, but in GTA this is going to be called the Italy GTO. And if you guys don't know how to get the Italy GTO, I will show you guys right here. So pull up your phone, go ahead and go to the internet, go to Motorsport, click on two-door, and you're just going to scroll down until you find the Italy GTO, which is right here, the Grotti Italy GTO, which is basically $2 million. So if you guys want to go ahead and buy this right here, you guys can. So all you have to do is just scroll down a little ways and just buy the car, click on whichever color you want, order the car. After you do order the Italy GTO, wait for it to show up in your garage. And whenever it does show up into your garage, get in your car and just take it to Los Santos Customs. When you do get to Los Santos Customs with your Italy GTO, you're going to want to go ahead and just drive inside. Whenever you do drive inside, just like with the other, upgrade the basic stuff like the armor, the brakes, the engine, the transmission, stuff like that. And I'm just going to show you guys the stuff that you do need on the car. So for the first part on this car, we're going to go ahead and start with the bumpers. So you're going to want to go ahead and click on bumpers, click on front bumpers, and you're just going to want to leave it on the stock bumper. After you've done this, you can now just back out of front bumpers, scroll down to rear bumpers, and you're going to want to set it to the stock rear bumper. Once you do set your bumpers to the stock, which from front and rear, those are just going to be stock, you can now back out of bumpers, scroll down to exhaust, click on exhaust, and you're going to set it to the quad circle bore. After you do set it to the quad circle bore, you can then just go ahead and back out of the exhaust, scroll down to hood catches, click on hood catches, and you're going to want to leave that on stock. After you have your hood catches set to stock, you can now just back out of your hood catches, scroll down to hood, click on hood, and you're going to want to have it to the vent remove, which will be on slot 2. After you have your hood set to the vent remove, you can then back out of hoods, scroll down to lights, click on headlights, and just set it to the Eon lights. After you have set your headlights to the Eon lights, just back out of lights, scroll down to your mirrors, click on mirrors, and you're just going to have it set to the primary mirrors. When you have set it to the primary mirrors, you can then just back out of the mirrors, scroll down to plate, click on plate, and you're just going to have it set to the yellow and black plate, just because I guess every car that they do have, they just have a black plate on it, except it has white lettering, but in GTA you have a black plate and yellow lettering, so this is the closest that you can get, I guess, with the black plate. But if you guys know how to customize plates, like you guys can put Tristan, or you can put Andrew, or since they do all own their, or since both of them own all their cars together, you can just go ahead and put Tate on the car, if you guys know how to do that. But after you have set your plate to the yellow and black plate and done whatever you like with it, you can now just back out of plates, scroll down to respray, and for the respray, you're going to want to go ahead and click on respray, click on primary color, and for the primary color, scroll down to metallic. You're going to want to go ahead and click on metallic. After you click on metallic, scroll down until you find dark blue. So dark blue should be right here on slot 45. So go ahead and click on dark blue, and that's going to be the primary color for this car. Now you can back out, scroll down to pearlescent, go ahead and click on pearlescent, and scroll up until you find the Saxon blue, which will be on slot 46. So you're going to want to go ahead and set that to your pearlescent color. So after you have set your metallic color to the dark blue and your pearlescent to Saxon blue, you can back out of primary color, scroll down to secondary color, click on secondary color, scroll down to metallic, click on metallic, and you're going to want to have your secondary metallic color also set to dark blue. Once you have done this, you can now just back out of your colors, or back out of your primary and secondary color, scroll down to trim color, click on trim color, and you're just going to want to have that set to graphite. After you have set your trim color to graphite, which will be on slot 2, you can then just back out of your resprays, scroll down to roof, click on roof, and just have it set to the stock roof. Once you have set it to the stock roof, back out of roofs, scroll down to skirts, click on skirts, and it's just going to be stock skirts. After you have your skirt set to stock, you can then just back out, scroll down to spoiler, click on spoiler, and it's going to have no spoiler, so just set it to none. Whenever your car has no spoiler, you can back out of spoilers, scroll down to suspension, click on suspension, and you're just going to want to set it to the lowered suspension, which is right under stock suspension. So after you have set your suspension to lowered suspension, you can then back out of suspensions, scroll down to your wheels, since you guys don't have to worry about the transmission or turbo, you guys know how to max that out. Now you're going to want to go to your wheels, click on wheels, click on wheel type, go ahead and scroll down to sport, click on stock rims, and you're going to look for S Racer, which is on slot 17. After you do equip S Racer wheels, you can now go ahead and just back out of your rims, back out of sport, back out of your wheel type, scroll down to wheel color, click on wheel color, and set it to black, which will be on slot 2. And after you have set your wheel color to black, you can then just back out of your wheels, because for the tires, it's just basically the same stock tire design. Tires, or your tire enhancement, you can either do standard tires or bulletproof. For the tire smoke, do whatever you guys like. And after you've done that, you can then back out of wheels, scroll down to windows, which will be all the way at the bottom, and set it to the light smoke. So your tint on your car will be light smoke. After you have done your windows, that's pretty much it. As long as you guys have done the stuff, as long as you guys have done the upgrades I've told you, and you guys have done the basic stuff like the armor, the brakes, the engine, the transmission, and turbo, stuff like that, that's pretty much it for this car. And yeah, now, if you guys saw earlier the exact picture that I showed you at the beginning, and if you guys look at the car now, it looks exactly the same. So now you can just go ahead and exit Los Santos Customs, And that's pretty much it for this car. So after you have this car fully upgraded, just like I showed you, now you can drive it back to the garage. And now we're going to move on to Andrew Tate or Tristan Tate's final car. For the final car that we're working on, we're going to go ahead and work on Andrew or Tristan Tate's McLaren 765 LT, which is in GTA. That's the McLaren because that's the closest McLaren that you can get to whatever the car looks like in real life. So if you guys are wondering on how to get this T20, all you want to do is just pull up your phone, go ahead and go to the internet, go to Legendary Motorsport, click on two-door, and all you want to do is scroll down until you do find the T20. So when you scroll down to the Progen T20, you guys can see it's at least 60% off. And before this week, if you guys are able to get the car until Thursday, and the car's half off, then I'd say that's a pretty good deal. So once you do find the T20, click on T20, click on whatever color you do want, and after you do choose the color you want, you can then go ahead and order, and then just order it to any garage that you want. After you do order it, and it does show up in your garage, you're then gonna go ahead and get inside your car, and just take it to Los Santos Customs. For the first part on this car, we're gonna go ahead and start with the bumpers. So go ahead and click on bumpers, click on front bumpers, and you're just gonna wanna leave those as stock front bumpers. After you have done that, you can then just back out of front bumpers, scroll down to rear bumpers, click on rear bumpers, and you're also gonna leave that on the stock rear bumper. So for the bumpers, for the front and rear, it's just gonna be stock. Now you can go ahead and scroll down to exhaust, click on exhaust, and you're gonna wanna set it to the stock exhaust. I just think the stock exhaust looks more open, just like his car does in real life. So if you guys saw the picture earlier, if you guys wanna go and do the chrome tip, which I don't know, I just think the stock exhaust does look better with this car, then you guys can go ahead and do that. So it's either the chrome tip exhaust or you can do the stock exhaust, whatever you guys like. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with the stock exhaust. So after you have done the exhaust, you can now back out of exhaust, scroll down to hood, click on hood, and just leave that as the stock hood. So the car that he does have, the picture I did leave up, he only has the blue hood, but recently I guess he put on a carbon fiber hood, which you guys can't put on the car, which sucks. You can put on a vented hood or a double vented hood, which sucks, but you guys can only, for this car, which it will look better just like how he used to have it, just leave it as the stock hood. So after you have your hood set to the stock hood, you can now just back out of hood, scroll down to lights, click on headlights, and you're going to want to have those set to the Eon lights. After you have your headlights to the Eon lights, you can then just back out of lights, scroll down to plates, click on plate, and set it to the yellow and black plate. So the car that they do have, they have a black plate, but only with white lettering, but in GTA, we have a black plate with yellow lettering. So I just thought this was the closest that you can get to his real life license plate. Even though he does have an EU plate, it still is similar to what he has in real life. So if you guys know how to customize license plate, you guys can either go ahead and put Tristan, or you can put Andrew, or since they both do own all their cars together, you can just go ahead and put Tate. So that's just up to you if you guys want to go and do that. But after you have set your plates to however you guys like, you can back out of plates, scroll down to respray, go ahead and click on respray. After you click on respray, click on primary color, and for the primary color, scroll down to metallic, click on metallic, scroll down to blue, which will be right here on slot 47, and you're going to want to go ahead and set it to blue. After you do set it to blue on slot 47, back out of your metallic, scroll down to pearlescent, go ahead and click on pearlescent. And so for some reason you guys aren't able to click on pearlescent, so maybe you have to go ahead and change the color, go back into pearlescent, and then you're for some reason able to choose it now. But for your pearlescent color, you're going to want to set it to surf blue, which is on slot 51. And after you've set your pearlescent color to surf blue, that's pretty much it for the metallic and pearlescent color for primary. Now you're going to want to go ahead and scroll down to, after you back out of primary, scroll down to secondary color, click on secondary color, scroll down to metallic, click on metallic, and you're going to want to set it to blue, which is on slot 47. And after you have done the primary and secondary color, you can now just back out of respray, scroll down to roof, click on roof, and you're just going to have it set to the stock roof. So after you have the stock roof, then that's going to be it for the roof. And so the only thing that is pretty cool is that the car that he does have, which is the McLaren 765 LT. He does have the carbon fiber roof, which is pretty cool. So I guess that's the only thing Rockstar didn't mess up with this car if you're trying to make Andrew Tate's car. But after you're done with the roofs, you can now back out a roof, scroll down to skirts, click on skirts, and you're going to want to set it to the shark fin skirts. So the thing that sucks about these skirts is that you can't put a carbon fiber skirt on it. So that's the only downfall on this part with the skirts. But this is as similar as you can get to the skirts if just with the primary color. So after you've done the shark fin skirts, you can now just back out of skirts, scroll down to your wheels, click on wheels, click on wheel type, scroll down to sport, click on stock rims, and you're going to look for the S Racer, which is on slot 17. And after you've equipped the S Racer wheels on this car, you can now back out of the rims, back out of the sport, back out of wheel types, scroll down to wheel color, click on wheel color, and you're going to set it to black, which will be on slot 2. And after you have set your wheel color to black, you can then go ahead and back out of the wheel color, go to tires, go to tire design, also have it set to the stock just like every other car. For the tire enhancement, you can either have bulletproof tires or standard tires, whichever you guys like. And now for the tire smoke, you can have it to whatever you guys like, but I'm just doing the stock, which is going to be the white tire smoke. After you have done that, you can now back out of the wheels, scroll down to windows, which will be all the way at the bottom, click on windows, and set it to the light smoke. And after you have set your tint to the light smoke, that's pretty much it for this car. So as long as you've done the basic stuff, so max out the turbo, max out the transmission, max out the armor, the brakes, the engine, the turbo, then that's pretty much it. As long as you guys did copy the stuff that I did with this car, then you guys should match everything perfectly. And that's pretty much it. And these cars, whenever you do take them outside Los Santos Customs, they do look a lot better in the sun. So if you guys look closely to the car compared to the real life car that I did show you, which is his McLaren, if you guys look at the picture earlier at the beginning, and then you guys finish the car and you bring it outside inside the sun, you guys will see that it does look super similar to the one that he does have in real life. And it looks pretty good. So that's pretty much it for these 4 cars. So I know he does have a lot more cars than this, but as you guys can see, I'm not really rich. I have 22 million, but it's not enough to buy all the cars he does have in real life. But yeah, if you guys want to see the other cars that I did make with Tristan and his Bugatti, I will leave a link in the description. So you guys can go ahead and watch those if you guys want to. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys did enjoy these tutorials on these cars. Please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.